Happy early Father's Day for everybody in the area. Ocala Real Estate channel. Glenn Stein Realty Executives here. Let's talk about whether the Ocala real estate market is getting better or worse. Let's look at it. Let's go right into it. Is it getting better or worse? And what we have to look at it once you talk about something like this, you got to figure out, okay, if it is getting better or worse, we need to look at what happened last year. Let's compare it to this year, right? Like what are we seeing? So if we look at it now, remember Ocala, Florida is Marion County. So let's just put in Marion County. Okay, so Marion County, we're looking at 4,576 properties for sale. We have seen an incredible amount of increase in inventory. So let's look at the inventory level. Let's compare it historically. Let's look at what's happened over the last, let's say 5 years. Historically, what we're looking at, let's look at number of sales first, right? And then we're going to look at months of inventory. So number of sales in the marketplace, this will help us. Are we getting better or worse? 883 properties sold. And actually, we need to do something. We need to go 10 years because 883, May was actually the worst month since 2020. Not surprising, but 2020 also COVID. So if we look at May, okay, 2019, 879, so very similar numbers to 2019. So looks like we've reverted to 2019 numbers. If we look at active listings, let's look at that inventory number. How does this compare? Because that's a lot. That's the most we've seen in many years, right? The last 5 years, we've seen an increase. If we look at May, 5225, that's the largest number in the last 10 years, right? The last 10 years of numbers, that's the most amount of listings we've seen. So let's take a look at months of inventory, which is the pace of sales divided into the amount of homes that are on the market. And, typically, early 2015, 12, 10 months supply of homes, meaning that homes were taking a while to sell. We're at 6 months now. Now, depends on how you look at this. We've gone worse than last year, a little bit better than the early part of this year. So we're seeing much more inventory in the Ocala, Florida market. And the pace of sales, we are seeing a decent amount of sales happening. So let's go back and let's take a look at how many homes are actually selling. Let's say the last 6 months in Marion County. We're going to do two things. 4802 last 6 months. That's an average of right at 800 homes, almost identically 800 homes per month. That's not a terrible number. It's not fabulous, but it's not bad. So that's a pretty good pace of sale. But let's do something really interesting. Let's compare this year versus last year. Let's take January 1 all the way through June 13th, Marion County sold 4327. Remember that number, 4327. Let's look at last year, same time. So 4327 is our number for this year to date. And we're going to know 4,708 properties. So I'm doing some quick math. That's an 8% difference. 8.1% decline in the number of sales in Marion County. Okay, 8%. That is a pretty big deal, I think. Right? So sales in Marion County down by 8% in 2025. That's essentially what we're seeing right now. So I'd love to hear it in the comments. What do you think about that? What does that mean? Is this a good time to buy or sell? I'm going to tell you this, each market is a little bit different. And, what it tells me right now is that, it's a buyer's market. And I think it's going to be a buyer's market from now until maybe next year when if interest rates come down significantly, and that's just a little bit, if they come down to 6 or below, then we've got something, right? And if you have questions about that, you can connect with me. We also, by the way, we have sales and property management rentals. So if you have a rental that you need managed, we've been doing that for the last 20 years. So you can connect with me here. My number is 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. I'm Glenn Stein, broker owner, Realty Executives, and happy Father's Day, everybody.